Welcome back to Morning Joe. Our next guest argues that it is economic status that's dividing our country and directly influencing race relations today. The new book is titled White Poverty: How Exposing Myths About Race and Class Can Reconstruct American Democracy. It details how elites have worked to divide the poor of all races in order to maintain an economic structure that only benefits the top. Joining us now, the book's co-author, Reverend Dr. William J. Barber. He is directly working to end that division, organizing a movement of America's working class to make their needs heard and force Washington to act. Reverend, thank you so much for being here this morning. I know this is your life's work. Tell us more about the book, because I think that the title and the premise will take some by surprise.
Well, it probably will. The first time that I went on a poverty tour back in early 2000, had a state legislature said there aren't that many poor people. And since that time, we've really been studying and asking for an analysis. You know, if you look at the government's poverty measure, it would often say it's just about 30-some million poor people. And then most of the time, the picture you would see was a black woman on welfare. That picture both demeans black people and it dismisses tens of millions of white people. The fact of the matter is, in raw numbers, the majority of poor and low-wage people are white people and white women. So in my book, I say that this false portrayal is a lie. More than that, it's a damn lie, and it actually creates division. When one of the unifying factor is 135 million poor and low-wage people in this country today. Over 40% of our population, and in voting, poor people now represent 30% of the electorate, and in so-called battleground states, they represent over 40% of the electorate. This book, I take an opportunity at lifting up white people who are in various places from Appalachia, showing the connections between white and black, and how we live in these myths, 4 myths. Pale skin is a shared interest. Only black people want change. Poverty is a black issue, and we can't overcome divisions. The fact of the matter is we can, we must, and we have to in this culture.
Reverend, is it not a political strategy that really was playing blacks against whites to put the blackface out there and make us synonymous with poverty, ignoring whites, and then it was like us against them? You grew up in a movement like I did. You grew up in NAACP. I grew up with, among others, Reverend Jesse Jackson, that always tried to say that, that we have more in common than we have apart. How do we break that cycle, given this kind of Trump cult that's out there now, to make people understand that we are each other's answer or solution? We're not each other's problem. They're playing both of us for those that want to make billions of dollars and get tax cuts. You
know, Martin King said in '65, at the end of the Selma to Montgomery March, when he spoke on the steps of the Alabama State House, that the fear of the racist oligarchy in this country was for the masses of poor Negroes and the masses of poor white people to come together, form a voting bloc that could fundamentally shift the economic architecture. The truth of the matter is, we also got to tell the right story. People say poor people vote against their own interests, poor white. First of all, the numbers show us the majority of poor people do not vote regressive. They tend to vote progressive. Secondly, we've got to understand that there's a large swath. The biggest swing voters in this country, according to Celinda Lake and people like this, are poor white and black folk. Over 30 million who are infrequent voters. And the number one reason, Reverend Al, that they don't vote is they say nobody talks to them. They don't hear themselves in the ads. They don't hear themselves in the debates. We had 15 presidential debates. Nobody talked about poor and low-wage folk. Nobody talks to them. Nobody listens to them. So what they're saying is now we're coming together, which is why on June 29th, there's going to be a mass poor people, low-wage workers moral march on Washington and to the polls in an effort to reach 15 million poor and low-wage people. What I'm saying in this book is let's deal with all of America's poor and stop treating this as it is an anomaly, that it is a crisis. You got 40% of this country poor and low wealth. This is a crisis that we need to look at totally and not one side or the other.
The new book is titled White Poverty: How Exposing Myths About Race and Class Can Reconstruct American Democracy. It goes on sale tomorrow. Reverend William Barber, thank you so much. And Mika, this is certainly such an important and interesting subject, one we'll be following very closely.